doing so far.
Daddy, do you connect this phone to the internet?
No.
When?
Ask Mummy.
What did you? Mommy, did you connect this phone to the internet?
So we have an entrance here. These will be my doors here and here. Dark grey space here is dead space on the map. So we have to have another door there. I want these areas to be sort of storage chambers, that sort of thing. But I think in each of the area, there should be varying degrees of monsters and things like that to challenge them. That's going to go up like that. Some more doors through like that. So we have area 1, 2, 3 and 4 like that. This can be area 5. Big area 5, so there's something big in there. big area for 6, so we can put a larger creature in here. 5's also a big area. So we'll come in down here. These all represent doors. These will be different storage chambers for the materials that come through the bay here. Hello, wife. And then up here we have some sort of offices, and there's some barges that some stuff will need to be stolen from. So the pipe will make their way through, which I have in these areas though. These are going to be like a crane, so that they, like a wharf where they dispart the boat, unload the boats with. They'll be able to use them as something. Yeah. So let's see, this area should be separated, I think. Maybe like a docks down there, something like that. Should be some sort of loading bay area. So if you imagine up here with the ships come in, they get offloaded, and then they'll get sent to different areas of the various dungeons. But it would be closely guarded. So through here, and also doors there, also doors there. Should be separated, 2 chambers. Could feed different sides of the thing, so if that side could be So one side could be for the Bloom Forge, for example, and the other side for Pleasure Bay. Maybe. Put that in there. Different Benson. Work out what kind of creatures would be guarding this bay. What kind of creatures would be guarding an underground, underwater, sorry, semi-underwater cavern in a desert. Ancient black dragon? Probably not. Some dinosaurs, that'd be fun, but no. Devils, no. I think I do like the idea of a beholder being in here. In fact, I do like that. Beholders are watchers, aren't they? No, if we leave that solid. So we call the area 7 and then 8. Yeah. I like the idea of a beholder being in there. Something small, so maybe some lion drakes. Guardy things, lion drakes, beholders, chimeras. Let's look. Well, we have a beholder, so we can use him. So you can bring that one there, for example. I should have another one. That's what I was talking about with lion drakes. Use some of them, I've got quite a few of them actually. Copper dragon, no, used that last time we were out. Could use a manticore, but keep going to it. Shoes for the moment. Orcs and ogres are always helpful. Always helpful. You see those. Better for you. Another line drink there, a lot of them apparently. My players loved fighting a death kiss before. Hi Mark. Must have you on board, mate. You remember that, didn't you? Yes, we have those. Great fun little thing as well. It's not going to fit into what we're doing, but that's great fun too. I'm making you fight that again, Mark. You'll be coming up against that again soon. Don't worry. I know you loved it so much last time. Yeah, stuff like that. I should have another. Look, how many of these I got? I don't know why I have so many of these. MT can't rip it into. He will try. The amount of these that I've got. Well, I've just taken care of one of them for you. Yeah, so it's probably not a great angle for that. So let's move these down so we have beholder, although he's at a funny angle. Yeah. Just can't really see him properly, but there you go. That's a bit better. You probably got things like this. It's part of the same beholder family. They're really cool. Just going to use these as much as I can, just to annoy the party. Shame I've only got one mini for it though. I'd like to have more. I haven't. We do have a few of these, which are the lion drakes, who are part of the town guard, or the town guard. Seem to be escorted by these, which is very nice. When I first started collecting the minis for D&D, I would buy the random boxes, and I was always disappointed if I got more than one of the same mini. Now I've realised how important it is to have more than one mini, basically. Because before I was like, oh man, I've got this one already, but like now having more than one is very, very important. I find anyway. So that's the sort of things we can have there. So we've got our dungeon pretty much mapped out. That's fine, but then what I tend to do is find the pencil in the vlog. Then if I move back up over here, what I tend to do is write down, say, number 1. In fact, if I can, it might be easier if I show a previous dungeon. It might be easier, given that's already been done. Already been completed. No, we're currently doing that one. So, for example, this was a previous dungeon we had. As I tend to do it, we'll have the path they walk in, and then rooms off to the right, the left, up, down, wherever they want to go. Much more the traditional sort of Gary Gygax style of dungeon design. It is old school. It is literally just in my notebook with a pencil and paper. I'm not. There's many great tools online where you can do all this sort of thing, have it done for you. But I like to draw it out. I'm not much of an artist in this sort of contributes towards my me thinking I'm some kind of artist. But yeah, and then once I've done that, I draw out, and then to say number one, I'll just have entrance area. There's tapestries. There'll be a religion check. Further on in the book, in this book here, there is what I mean by that, and then the DC. I think this DC was 13. To see if the two Goliaths that are entering into this area would recognise the mural on the wall. I wanted them to, and it made sense that the Goliaths would have advantage on it because they know their own sort of story. Then we had two cloakers which look something like that, if you've not seen one before. Yep. There was some cloakers hiding in this room right here. And one of our players, good old reliable Herschel, I can always rely on him to walk into a trap of mine, walked straight into the room. And then he started mining the walls that were just along here, and there was two of these fellas in the room, and he noticed them. He came running out of the room and towards an area over here where the rest of the party was. Unfortunately, our good old friend Rurik was standing just here, and as Herschel went running past, the cloaker was chasing him, and they decided to turn his attention on poor old Rurik and begin to suck his brains out. So it's a very, very nice, very nice creature. Although one of these has been banished back to Avernus, where they sort of come from, and Jerry, Jerry's in the spot of bother at the minute. Jerry banished him back to Avernus, and the cloaker stayed there. We are toying with an idea that the cloaker is very, very grateful to the party, and he's now living out his life with the party, with like his wife and child back in Avernus now, and the cloakers are very, very grateful to be sent back. So we're very very grateful. So yeah. That's right. Yeah, but that's basically how I sort of design dungeons, and then each area will have. Area two cloaks in here. Seems to be some kind of mining room, like downstairs. Downstairs, I mean, by further back this was up a mountain they were climbing. And there were sort of crystals throughout the walls and all that sort of stuff that has something to do with the campaign, which they've figured out some things, not others. Move on. There'll be a large dining room. All the seats are filled with human skeletons, and the plates are all nice and fresh. There's fresh food on the plates. It's almost still warm. They're sitting there, and they each have a card in front of them. From the deck of many things. So there's a dining table with these skeletons in front of it. The food in front of it is almost certainly recently prepared. And there's random cards in front of it. The players took all the cards, not sensing that there might be some kind of trap of some description, but they took them all anyway because, that's what they like to do. And then you had... it's just whatever they wanted to do. It's whatever they wanted to do. So, in this large room back here, number 4, this one here we had a large diatrol in here. Although we had a bit of a timing issue, but a diatrol. Let me show you. It's one of these. It's a diatrol. A horrible thing. I mean, it's a fantastic creature. It's a fantastic looking thing, but it's grotesque. I love it. I mean, it's fantastic. I don't get to use it enough. There was a diatrol in there. guarding what was down here was there was a little box, and there was a dragon egg just sitting there on a velvet velvet pillow, and it was to be taken by the party or left by the party or something like that. Demonix, one of our barbarian player, decided to pick it up and put it in his pocket. He's toying with the idea of turning it into an omelette, as would be his right. They're not quite sure what having the dragon egg means yet, and I'm not going to tell them just yet either, but there you go. There was also a trap, pitfall trap in between here. So this area here, again, this is just how I design my dungeons. Many people will do it many different ways. I know stuff like this zigzag here to me means a dungeon. Obviously I have a copy of this book stays in front of me and behind my screen when we're actually playing. And then I have in this room at the minute, it's upstairs. I have a large map that I draw out on a whiteboard pen. Already has the grid squares on it, and then then once as we're sort of going through each area, I slowly draw out an area at a time. So when they enter this dungeon, I'll draw out this little area just here. And then I'll draw out where the doors are, say here, and here. And then if they want to go into what I know to be area 2, they go, right, I open the door, or whatever they want to do. Then I draw out the area there, like in front of them. So obviously I've got all this in this book in front of me, but in front of them, they'll only know the areas that I've opened up, or the classic fog of war thing. Something I haven't done the entire time I've been running D&D, but it is a much better way of doing it, I find personally. It is a much better way of keeping the players in the dark. So I used to, with some of my maps, I'd have them drawn out completely on the table, and then I would unroll them bit by bit, or have like bits of paper sort of covering up areas at a time, and then doing all that sort of thing. But I find that the players tend to want to be surprised as they go, because they don't know which room, if they walk into, how big the room is, what dangers are in the room, if there's any options out of the room, if there's any way to secret doors or anything like that. It's a bit more interesting just to sit there and have it be laid out as you would if you were entering any sort of a hotel or something like that, and you haven't got a map of it, like you don't know what the corridors look like, or you don't know what your room looks like, you don't know what anything until you start walking through these areas. Does it sort of, you start to sort of open it up. That's my sort of logic. Anyway, so we've got that was that. In room 5 we had, so again, let's just do it. I have it sort of noted out. There's cobalt mines in here, they're chained to it. Most of them have had bits and pieces removed for it, but they've been worked to death and tortured and all that sort of thing. There's several vials of blood on the wall, shelves. Obviously someone is keeping the entrails and parts of the kobolds as like a scientific experiment and that sort of thing. But the main point of this room was a creature called Droop, hi Alex. The players during the Lost Mines of Fandelver. Missed out on the opportunity to meet and interact with Droop. Those you know, Droop is I believe he's a goblin who can do he can do a lot for the party, little side quests. He's almost like a little pet to sort of go along with. But my party, my bard, guy called Gronk, decided to go into the room where he was where Droop has been held up by, sorry, a little bit of a spoiler for Lost Mines, so I beg your pardon, I shouldn't have said any of that, but there's a character called Droop who's been captured by some other bad guy, and he can be a friendly NPC to the players. Unfortunately, our bard decided to go into this room and just thunder wave his way through the room, hitting everyone, including poor little Droop. And Droop is severely injured when you first meet him anyway. So when they thunder wave and rolled high, I believe it rolled like I think it's 8 is the maximum damage. And I was thinking, we're talking about level 2 or level 3 maybe we were at. So to hit sort of 4 creatures for 6 points of damage each is good damage for the level. So our bard Gronk did that and just wiped out Gronk, wiped out poor old Droop before they even had a chance to speak to him. And some of my other players who have also run Lost Mines have had a long and developed relationship with Droop, carried around on his back, and they had, oh my god, and when they found out that they'd killed Droop before he'd even got a chance to say a word, they were all quite devastated by the fact that they're so in this going back to the point, back in this area now. Going back now, there was so I put in a Droop character, or Droopy, I think we've called him, because whatever else, and instantly my blood mage Herschel instantly took the initiative to sit there and adopt Droopy into his service as his son. And he is currently being protected, although Droopy is a kobold, not a goblin that Droop was. So that was in fact it was actually Herschel as well who got Rurik in a bit of trouble with one of these guys here, the cloakers. Yeah, that's quite right. That's quite right. It was Herschel who went running across this one here, so yeah, good fun that room. Then we had number 6, this area just here. Again, I keep moving this camera around, I haven't got a proper stand. Well, I have, but there's another camera on at the minute, so I can't bother to keep doing it. So area 6 we had here. This is what we essentially had as a like a bath and a spa, I suppose. It's a pool of water. This is a long bathhouse, surely for a giant, to get cleaned. There's a narrow 5-foot ledge surrounding the pool. Steam can be seen coming off the top of it. The water implying that it's warm. DC 15 perception check. Decides there was something in the water. The pool water's about 20 feet deep. There's a water elemental in the thing. Yeah. So again, when I'm sort of designing these rooms, I do like to have a. I do like to, yeah. The cloak of fan fiction. Yeah, no, we're not done with the cloak yet. We're not done with the cloak yet, Mark. To be fair, we're going to do something with that. That's too good an opportunity to miss, just to leave him back in Avernus with his wife and child. I haven't forgotten about that. Don't worry. So each of the rooms I like to do, in my mind, I like to have a purpose to them. Not just have, here's a room for the sake of it being a room, and the room's a room because the room is a room. Like, you know what I mean? There has to be some sort of purpose for it. I'd imagine this was part of the Zomac Mountains, which they were going up to defeat, or hopefully defeat, or I don't want to say kill Nezroth, but you know, it was a different form of slaying, but it doesn't matter. So I think if this was a giant's lair, on the way up, it was like a working mine, a working mountain that they used to mine these crystals from. But you would have had kobolds. I'm a big fan of kobolds. I don't use too many goblins. I prefer kobolds over goblins. I think they've got more personality. Just a personal preference. But the point is, it's sort of, you'd have areas that giants would be able to get through. Does that make sense? Like, you know, giants would you'd have to get you'd have to get the giant from front to back, top to bottom, or however you want to say it. Like, it couldn't just be, oh, this is a giant's area, so these areas up here are really big. Yeah, but they can't go in here because it's small. But do you know what I mean? There has to be a way to get round, and like they go through the bathhouse here. Like, they get to their bathhouse, but how would they do that? This is a large reception room. Then you'd have like the servants' quarters, and then you'd have the bathhouse, because they could then supply the reception room and the bathhouse from there. This would be the giant's personal sort of chambers to get up into her bedrooms and her battle rooms and all that sort of thing. So I know it sounds silly, but like, it has to make sense to me. Otherwise, especially if it's when I can't. The reason so many of my dungeons, my players will tell you, so many of my dungeons are just straight lines, is quite simply because like I'm terrible at drawing. I'm really genuinely, I cannot draw for love. This is my Mona Lisa here. Like, I kid you not. Like, my handwriting's terrible, my drawing is terrible, but I can think of things. So I mean, look, these are genuine maps that I've drawn out and used. This isn't me doodling. This is like, I've done this deliberately. Like, you know what I mean? And let me look at this. This is, I drew this out, but again, because this was a more natural cavern formation. These are ice caves, of which there was a dragon head down there, a huge dragon head, and all that sort of thing. But again, this is there's two fire hellion. These are my notes, but this is where I excel at doing this sort of thing. Again, more straight lines, lift, dirt. This goes here, this goes here, this. So where it's unnatural, sorry, it's man-made, as it were, elf-made or dwarven-made, or however you want to put it. It's where I'm doing this straight, sort of pretty boring sort of layouts, and I'm guilty of it. Each area has to make sense, so it's explicable why it's like this. Because if you think of a design of a house or a building or in a shopping centre or a shopping mall, whatever you want to call it, you want it to make sense. You want it to flow, and you want it to, not be walking down, just be a dead end, and that's important to me. Just so it feels more like an actual place, as opposed to here's something the DMs just. Some of the DMs just, just wrote together, and, it is what it is. So that's basically how I do it anyway. So, what else do we have up here? Incubation chamber, that was fun. That was the Ark and the Crawl, the naked Ark and the Crawl, who was in this chamber here. The central column, this bit here, was a huge glass chamber, which I'm not going to draw for the reasons I just told you. And there was a naked sort of, there was a naked Dragon Ball, I don't know, with naked Dragon Ball in there, known as Ark and the Crawl. But he was floating away in the tank, and he was, and Herschel, good old Herschel. There's a lot of Herschel doing things in here that was nearly derailed the campaign. Actually, now I think about it, he decided to drink the liquid of which the Arkham was floating in, which is very nice of him. And then, he was drinking that, and that was making him feel much, much better, until he drank a bit too much of it one time, and then he started to grow scales. And I remind you, Herschel was a human male who's not supposed to have scales, but it's okay though, because that vial of that liquid got thrown away and destroyed. Excuse me. So that vial was destroyed by being thrown on the floor, and then something grew out of the floor, and so it was good fun. Don't see. It's not the blame. The reason that Herschel always takes the blame is it's always Herschel doing it. To be fair, if you want to come back with a justifiable time that I've blamed Herschel for something and it has not been in fact Herschel, then tell me. I mean, I'm pretty sure you would have completed the campaign by now if you didn't. Do you know what I mean? If you hadn't have been messing around so much, Herschel, I think you would have probably would have finished everything. So there you go. Yep. So that's room there. So that was up there, and then up into here, these different areas. Number 9 there, we had a wine cellar. Although it technically wasn't a wine cellar, it'd be a wine store, I suppose. But I figured as we're in the mountains anyway, it'd probably be pretty cool. I don't know how a wine cellar would work in the middle of the mountains. Yes, we had a wine cellar. And it had the point of it was there was a millionaire in there, but he was a ghost, a phantom figure, and this was to reveal that 2 of my players who are with the party, they didn't realise it at the time, but they've been transported across from their timeline into this one, into this current one, and the millionaire was from their sort of timeline, so he was a what do you call, like a plot point, a mouthpiece for him to be sort of funneling around these bottles of wine, and basically anything the party said to him, he thought it was a name of a wine. So like, oh, how long have you been here? Oh yes, I have a bottle of how long have you been? Like just anything they would have said, I was turning into. That's the name of it, and he had it because this wine expansion was just so large. So he was kind of a kooky character. I forget his name. I've got it written down here. What do you call him? Anyone? You want to tell me what I called him? Malt. There you go. Malt. He was called M-O-L-T. Malt. So he was sort of a bumbling character. There was a lovely large chalice on a pedestal that was shaped up to be Nezarov's, the giant that lives in this mountain. That was supposed to be her personal drinking cup. But the party decided to. What's that say? The party again? Herschel and Jerry. Who was Jerry? They were, yes, it was them two. The 2 old men decided to try and steal the large chalice and drink the liquid within it without Malt, the phantom sort of millionaire guard of the area, noticing. They kind of succeeded, but then once they succeeded their mission, which upon themselves, Herschel and Jerry upon themselves took this mission. No one gave it to them. They just decided themselves they need to steal it. The wizard and the blood mage and the cleric, not normally the best choice for stealing things, but there you go. But they did. But they successfully stole it. And then once they had attained their prize, it's sorry, reading. I'm not very good at reading or different thing. Yeah. So once they had attained their prize of this lovely chalice, they didn't know what to do with it, and then just left it in the corner of the room. So it's all silly things like that happen. But the point of Malt in there was when Vesper and Demonix. Let's go get them as I'm talking through. Let's go get Vesper and Demonix over here. so let's put you down here. Oops, sorry, making one feel sick. So this is Vespa and Demonox. You see it? The lighting's terrible, isn't it? I don't want I should maybe see them a bit more. Yeah, but this is Vespertillo, and this is Demonox. I can't remember his last name. Demonox. Yeah, I'll move this forward, get a bit more light under there. Ooh, don't want to do that too much because there's a puzzle that my wife and children are doing, and they've managed to get all the edges in. Yeah, they managed to get all the edges in. I'm trying to make you see that, but who's that light? Doesn't really matter. Anyway, and this is the cause of most of our problems. This is Herschel, who we do love. Bless him, we do love Herschel, but he does cause quite a few problems for the party. Never any problems for me. I most of the time don't even have to come up with bad guys when Herschel is around, because he's more of a threat to the party than anyone is. These models are all wonderfully printed and painted by one of our players, Tim. He's such an exceptionally talented guy, artiste when it comes to this sort of thing. I can't paint for toffee. But still, yeah, Malt was seeing Vespa and Demonox, and the point of him was to be this sort of clumsy, sort of, I'm just existing for the sake of it. And, he was trying to... he was trying to help out the party and just being like, yeah, she's just up there. He was just like an NPC, because it'd been a while since they'd interacted with someone. I think it'd been a while since they had been able to have a little bit of a back and forth, a little bit of a role play with any other character, because just about everything else in this particular dungeon that I'm talking about was there to kill them. There wasn't a puzzle in this dungeon. There were some other clues and whatnot. But anyway, every so often I like to chuck in an NPC. I like chucking in an NPC that I can have a little bit of fun and breaks the tension. Thank you, Red Dodo. You're very, very kind. So it's I did like that. What does this do? I'm just What would you do? No, I don't. No, I don't know how this works. So I have no idea what I'm doing. Did that? I don't know what happened. Ah, Jerry, nice to have you back. So it is quite. Sorry, there's lots of things happening on the screen. I'm not sure what I'm meant to be pressing or doing. Anyway, so yeah, every so often for a dungeon, if there's a lot of combat, combat's great. Combat's fine, but you do need a break sometimes. So I do like to put an NPC in, just the party can talk to. It just breaks the tension up a little bit. It gives people a little bit of a respite. It gives people a bit of a reprieve from constantly fearing for their lives and all that sort of thing. So I do like to put it in there, but then again, it has to be a point of it, not just here's an NPC, here's a phantom in this particular dungeon. He's walking around this wine cellar because he's always done it. I suppose, I don't know. And what is the point? What is the point of having this room here? Why would there be a wine cellar here? Right, and again, going back to these, sorry guys, I'm going to have to move you off of there. I'm always really nervous about moving those. I broke them again. So we have wine cellar here, and this is how big it was. It was a huge area, but wine cellar fed down into personal sort of service quality, and then straight down into reception room. Yeah, so it made sense. Wine cellar straight down and through there, single corridor, bang, that way. And there's obviously, she could have got bathed up here for her own little personal chambers, boom. Same thing, up into there. There was actually a door there as well. I changed that because I realised I made a mistake. See, there should have been a door there. Not that it matters, they've completed this dungeon, so I don't want to bother to do that, but still. Yeah, and then they would have, so she goes straight to her bath, into her bedroom area, just here. So she had the personal to get there, to get dressed and all that. She would come for a faithful wine set up here. Then there was like dressing rooms and chambers and armoury, and then her actual bedroom there. She would have like a dressing room, the bedroom. This was a sliding door, a sliding wardrobe door. Hence why it looks a bit different from everything else. So it makes sense. So you could have, bedroom, dressing room, bathroom, and she could move around all these areas without entering these areas here where the guests would have been. But again, this millionaire, blah blah blah. She needed food or whatever else. There was a kitchen, I believe. This might have been a kitchen, this part as well, actually, if I can remember rightly. But anyway, but again, it's just about making sense. I mean, it's great fun to have. It's great fun to do. I'm not the biggest fan of doing prep. If I'm honest, this is the only part of it that sort of feels like work. It's the only part of it that sort of, I don't enjoy it. To say I enjoy it is too much. It is a case of, I sort of have to do it, which is fine. Then we have that's a Gloom Forge. That's somewhere where we currently are, but they've not explored everywhere. So again, you'll have most places they've got. You'll have the map. It looks like again it's the rectangle. It's the straight. The reason it's always trying to show you. The reason it's always set out like this rectangle, and you can actually see if you look very closely down here, I have them numbered. So you've got line 39 and 1 to 25 and all that sort of thing. The reason is because that's how big my big map is that goes out on this table here. That's how big it is. So when I draw it in the box, so I know if I can count, if I make this area like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 boxes wide by 1, 2, 3, 4 high, I know if I draw that out to that size on my map that everything fits. So I know this is, so I draw this rectangle out first. And then I know that's my sort of playing space, as it were. That's my playing area. So, it is sort of difficult to do, but it's much easier if you have your own, draw your own limitations in, is what I would say. And I think that's what's helped me out massively, because the amount of times I would draw stuff out and I would be drawing it out and I've made it a bit too big, and then by the time I need to do it, I'm already out here and I've run out of space on the map, and then I'm making my boss room much smaller than I wanted it to be, and then there was meant to be something really big and cool in there, but I've kind of messed up and gone, well, I'm going to have to wipe and redraw the map half down here, and it gets complicated, and the players don't really care. It's more something that I sort of care about, knowing that it's sort of wrong, but then, can it be right? Do the players have fun? Yes, most of the time. I like to think they do anyway. And none of my actual messing up of the maps or anything has majorly affected anything. Not that anyone's noticed anyway. Probably going to take you through some other characters here in a minute. Yeah, so we've got. I'm going to get some of the other characters and talk about this. Oh no, Lucian's died already. Sorry, Lucian. No, this is Lucian. He is our sorcerer. He's a bit of a pyromaniac by his own admission. He's very cool. He does like burning things and doesn't. I don't say he doesn't play well with others. He does play well with others, just not as well as some others may play with others, but there you go. We have Rugan, who is a swashbuckling bard with a hilarious voice. He's relatively new to the campaign, so we don't know a great deal about him yet. Again, this is all painted and printed by one of our fantastic players, a guy called Tim, who plays Rugan, this guy in front of me here, and Gronk. I shall show you Gronk as well. That's Gronk. Yeah, so Gronk is our bard in the yes. So again, I'm incredibly fortunate to have such a talented painter and printer in amongst my one of my players. So yeah, in fact, all of our player characters, all our PCs are actually custom prints, whether they were found using various different apps or they were bought online or anything. This is Rurik Stoneshield. He is one of our Goliath, Path of the Totem Goliath. He has a wonderful relationship with Herschel, kind of a love-hate relationship where Rurik here is very honourable and fights for his ancestors. You can't quite see it on there, but he's covered in tattoos. The light's not picking up very well, but that's okay, you get the idea. Yeah, and he has a very much a love-hate relationship with Herschel, as Herschel's doing lots of things that perhaps he shouldn't. And whatever. Zorel. This is Zorel, our Simar Celestial Guardian sent from Mount Celeste. Paladin. Again, great details. Come down. Hasn't spent a great deal of time with the quote-unquote real world. He's become quite, how to put it, disjointed with the rest of reality in terms of how he sees other people, how he would treat other people. He got very drunk very, very quickly a few weeks ago, just because the wine and whatnot on Mount Celeste is lovely and pure and filtered 1,000 times, and is fantastic. Whereas down in Tattertal, where they are, which is like a very rough version of Las Vegas, essentially, is what I've done. The alcohol there is not quite so clean and pure. So as he was drinking it, he got drunk very, very fast, and yeah. So that's it. And then we have poor old Jerry. Jerry is just a human cleric who's he's desperate to leave this world. He really is. He misses his wife dearly, and he's about 106, I think he is. He's again a human. He's not an elf or anything, and he's very desperate just to die. But he believes he will not be. His wife will not let him die, as she passed away in rather suspicious circumstances, of which the party have yet to find out. And so Jerry has been visiting his dear wife, who's been chained up in this strange dark place. And every time they defeat a member of what's known as the Dark Order, apparently a chain seems to come loose, and then his wife is slowly being freed, and she's becoming more powerful. However, something rather bad happened to Jerry last week, in fact Friday night, a week ago, as the party pulled on the deck of many things. The card Don John was pulled for Jerry, and if you don't know what that does, there is a video on the channel explaining to that. So there's Jerry. I'm not sure if we're going to see him again. So yeah, that's that. I don't think I'm missing anyone of the main party. We got some. I might as well show you these others. I think I'm sort of slightly going off. I'm going off topic to what I'm supposed to be doing is. it's so this is again, I'm just showing off. I mean, this is supposed to be about how I do my prep, but I've come off the topic and whatever. This is more fun to do this. Again, these are all. This is our character Max Rebo. Some of you may get that reference, some may not. You notice he doesn't actually have a face, which is completely deliberate. He's a bad guy, basically. I'm not going to get into the full details of it now. Then we have his brother, who is Kane Rebo. Kane is very much a good guy. It's his white armour, and he does have an awesome sword that when he pulls it out, it goes, ah, and sort of shines and glows brightly. The party were a little bit suspicious of him at one point, and I had to kind of steer them back on, like, no, train. You know, Kane's a good guy. So yeah, we have him. We have little Hemmek, who is a gnome, and he is the blacksmith for the party. He speaks incredibly quickly and in an absolutely terrible Irish accent that I sort of do, which is probably borderline quite offensive to some people. I do apologise, but we do like Hemmek. He's just as mad as a box of frogs, and yeah, but he's good fun. Good fun to play. Can't do his voice for too long. Then we have Ryan. Ryan, this poor dwarven bartender who's only young, hence the lovely full black beard. Yeah, he was in Vandelver, and the party decided that they enjoyed his company so much that he should come get a new job with them in Lowerville, the town where we're currently stationed. And he was meant to be just a silly little two-part character that was meant to appear for about 30 minutes of one session, and obviously, like all the best things in life, he's turned into a massive sort of part of it. He's been abducted, you know, and that's the way D&D goes, as best I can tell. These silly little characters that you come up with. You know, so it's I tell you, I don't know what's going on. Who sent what to what? I don't understand. Yeah, so anyway, then we have Blackscale, who is a black dragonborn and was one of the players for a series of. Oh, I'm not wrong. I'm not focused. There we go. For the series of one-shots we were doing. So this was Blackscale, who got a very cool book. Let's see that, folks. Is not doing me any favours here, is it? There we go. Yeah, he's very, very cool. But then he disappeared, and he's actually turned up as someone's patron. And he has something to do with the overall campaign. They're not entirely sure what just yet, but something. That's him. And then finally we have Frost. Who was my character. I had a little bit of DM burnout a couple of months ago, sort of September sort of time. I think it was September. And one of my players, Jerry, took over for me. Took over the session for a couple of weeks, and I got to play just as a player because I've been writing this. I'm sort of probably about a year into writing this campaign. No, it must be more than that. Christ. We've been playing this campaign for a year, so since January last year we started, so January 24, and we're still going now. So we've been playing this campaign for a year. I was probably writing it 5 months previous to us starting it. So I'm sort of a year and a half into this campaign. In my head, my players are a year into it. And I got a bit of, I just got a bit burned out. I become sort of disjointed with it, and it's starting to not become fun for me. It was starting to become really like a chore, like work for me. Mark, one of my players, very, very kindly said, "Look, I'd love to run just a section for you for a couple of weeks," and it was fantastic, just to have that sort of break and just to be a player. And anyway, I came up with Frost, who you can't really see on this model because that's the whole point of him. He's kind of sneaky, but he is a 3 green, who's incredibly stealthy and incredibly dexterous. And 3 greens obviously are not from the material plane; they're from the astral plane. So they, let me give you some sort of team. I'll give you some sort of team shot there. I'm gonna do something like that. You can sort of see the team. Yeah, they sort of they come from the astral plane, so they can speak telepathically to each other, and he wouldn't know what people sound like. So I sort of gave him a bit of a Matt Berry kind of vibe. And my name is Frost. I'm from the astral plane. Like he didn't know. He speaks how he thinks people speak, even though no one actually speaks like that, obviously, and he doesn't understand any sort of social faux pas and whatnot. It was good. So it was great fun to kind of play I don't want to say he's stupid, but like in the world that we're currently playing in, then yes, he would be regarded as stupid, but not because he is actually stupid, but more because he's just so unaware of the customs of this particular plane. So yeah, it's been good fun to play. I mean, it was a break that I really did need. And then, like anything, as I was saying before, so Frost, my character, was just there to be used. He didn't really have much of a backstory. And then the party seemed to enjoy interacting with him, playing with him. So I've kept him alive and around. And then as the campaign's gone on, the more involved the characters become, just because he can sort of drop random bombshells of information in without sort of any sort of social etiquette or any sort of warning or stuff like that. Again, because he doesn't understand that. Like for example, he reveals he's part of a mind flayer colony. It's part of a mind flayer colony, and then this is obviously a shock to the players, but because of how Frost is, he can just drop that in there and be like, well, what, obviously, like, you know what I mean? So it's a great way of getting quick information across, big information across, without it becoming, right, well, I need the players to, if they ask the right questions, then maybe I'll tell them, like, 'cause obviously, like any DM will tell you, or if you're reading any sort of published campaign, you sort of need things to happen. All right, Chris. So I'll get back to you. You need certain things to happen. So you have to have stories to go on. Infernal Magnus. These collection of minis here, as I was saying earlier on, they are beautifully printed and painted by one of my players, a guy called Tim. Some of them have come from Hero Forge, like Lucian's. Again, I can appreciate it's not that bright in here. I probably could move underneath the light a bit more, but I'm lazy, I'm not going to. A lot of these are from Hero Forge. So these ones here would have been designed, and then we would have bought the STL files. The STL file would be then given to Tim, one of my players, and then he prints them out and paints them. That's true for these two. It's true for these two. You see them saying, I believe Herschel here and Rurik here, they were found, I think, on My Mini Factory. If you've not been on My Mini Factory, go on My Mini Factory. It's absolutely fantastic. There are tens of thousands, and I do mean tens of thousands of models on there for very, very, very reasonable prices. Some of them are free. In fact, this gentleman here, Max Rebo here, was free. Literally did not cost a penny to download the STL files, the actual 3D print file. If you wanted to buy the obviously pre-made or pre-printed version, yep, I'm sure he would. He does have an Etsy shop. I'm not sure what the rules on linking stuff is, but if you do me a favour, fellow manager, just send us a message. Send us a direct message and I'll send you some details through there, if that's okay. Yes, he would. He does have an Etsy shop. Again, I'm not sure what the rules are of saying that kind of thing on here, forgive me. Same thing again, this gentleman here, Kane, he come from my mini factory. Again, he purchased the STL file, purchased this one, and then sent it to him. He prints and paints, and say he doesn't send it to me because he comes round mine every Wednesday, but every Friday, beg your pardon. So that's that. Again, Ryan here, I believe, was free as well. Little Ryan, he was free off that website. Have a look through. But yeah, a lot of the custom ones. This was another Hero Forge job. The STL files are pretty are reasonably priced. If you're going to get one sent, we're obviously UK based. I got one made and sent to me maybe 2-3 years ago. It took about a month, I believe, from Hero Forge and cost me about £60, a pretty British pound, 60 quid to get it, designed, printed, and sent over to me. It's really, really good. I can't. It's in my collection somewhere. You can't really see, but all these drawers are full of minis. I have more minis up there and more things. Anyway, it's really, really good, but it's expensive. Takes a long time, and I feel like these, to have them printed and painted, are, especially how he does them for us, is fantastic. Stuff like this. For example, this diatribe. This is straight from Wizards of the Coast. So if you Google Icon of the Realms, anything like that, D&D minis, you can Google that sort of stuff. Most likely you'll come up with these sort of things. They tend to come in boxes. Most of my collection is made up of the Wizards of the Coast, kind of stuff. A lot of it's random. They tend to be numbered. I don't know where you can see that, but they're sort of numbered and all that sort of thing. I don't know how or what I'm going to do with a Stegosaurus, but whatever. Some are very cool. And then you get the sort of bigger things like the Nophalid here. It's really hard to give you a sense of scaling. So this is, it's good. It's quite big, and let's give you a horrible sort of. To give you, that's obviously my hand, and this might be a better idea. That's an A4 box file that's sitting on. So it's a big mini. It's a big mini, and then you have sort of stuff over here. Again, this is actually the Grave Drinker from Van Richter's Guide to Ravencroft. Sorry. So that's a very good thing. I have my pride and joy here, which I call Valus Eldon, which is about 2.5 feet tall. Again, that's my hand. But bearing in mind, I'm a 40-year-old guy who's 6 foot tall. That's huge. But yeah, those ones tend to come from Wizards of the Coast. But always my favourite ones are what Tim has sort of done for us, and the personalisation thing. So there you go. Right, gentlemen, thank you for your time. We'll chat for a while because I just feel like I'm waffling at this point. Anything you want to ask or say to us, just send us a message and we shall get back to you as best we can. But other than that, thanks for listening, and I'll speak to you all soon. This Friday we are, so again, we're obviously British based, so it's Wednesday, Happy New Year, I should say. Wednesday. On Friday night, we will be broadcasting an actual play of our session as well. So we'd love to see you there, but that will be from about 8 p.m. GMT. So we have 8 p.m. GMT, if that helps you out. Look forward to seeing you there. Bye bye.